Good morning. Sunday, February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday. Except we Steeler fans. That's just another football game. So, what we want to do today, and the title of the lesson is The Tower of Babel. Babel, loving without understanding, agreement, or alignment. And we're going to hear from, there's some insights here from Angel Aziel. But the words are going to be coming from John O'Donohue and from the Great Tibetan. And then, of course, we have a wonderful opportunity to hear from Ronnie Weiss. But first, let's take a few breaths just to center ourselves. Turn off ringers on phones. Be relaxed. Breathe in the gold light, divine love and grace, and breathe out unfulfilled expectations, any sadness, any grimness. Just send away the gray. Just for the next 35 minutes. Let's just be breathing in here. Again, divine grace to the divinity through the crown chakra, and exhale through your mouth, the gray. One more time. Thank you. Welcome. Our opening prayer or thought. We have no reason to harbor any mistrust against our world, for it is not against us. If it has terrors, they are our terrors. If it has abysses, these abysses belong to us. If there are dangers, we must try to love them. And if only we arrange our life in accordance with the principle which tells us that we must always trust in the difficult, then what now appears to us as the most alien will become our most intimate and trusted experience. How could we forget those ancient myths that stand at the beginning of all races? The myths about dragons that at the last moment are transformed into princesses. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act. Just once, act with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest essence, something helpless that wants our love. Rainer Maria Rilke. So from here, let's begin with a blessing. Let's send out blessings of love. A blessing. A blessing is a circle of light drawn around a person to protect him or her, heal, and strengthen. Life is a constant flow of emergence, and the beauty of a blessing is that it can affect what unfolds. When a blessing is invoked, a window opens in eternal time. So what we want to do right now is just close our eyes for a few seconds and look to those we want to send a blessing to. Thank you. So now let's join with Ronnie Weiss, our songstress, in the song. It represents basically the message for today. Enjoy.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. dying, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. Send them your heart, so they'll know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. As God has shown us by turning stone to bread, so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. When you're down and out, there seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall. Well, let's realize that a change can only come when we stand together as one. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. Yes, it's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. Yes, it's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. We are the world.
Thank you, Ronnie. We are the world. We are the world. Each one of us a focal point. The concerns the angels brought up when they suggested this topic for today, that I think gets addressed in the Word. So as we move forward, begin with this. How are you to see into a virtuous soul and know its loveliness? Withdraw into yourself and look. And if you do not find yourself beautiful yet, act as does the creator of a statue that is to be made beautiful. He cuts away here, he smooths there. He makes the lines lighter, this other purer, until a lovely face has grown upon his work. So do you also cut away all that is excessive, straighten all that is crooked, bring light to all that is overcast? Labor to make all one glow of beauty, and never, never, never cease chiseling your statue. So you, this work of art, this being of light. The personal concerns to take on from the book Beauty, John Donahue, that expresses many of the messages that I got from Mother Mary, Mother Magdalene, and Angel Raziel as I prepared the lesson. Reverence. Reverence is a pathway. In order to become attentive to beauty, we need to rediscover the art of reverence. Our world seems to have lost all sense of reverence. We seldom even use the word anymore. The notion of reverence is full of riches that we now need desperately. Put simply, it is appropriate that a human being should dwell on the earth with reverence. As children, we became aware of the word reverence as used to describe the way a person is present in prayer or liturgy. When a priest celebrated the Mass with a sense of reverence, you sensed the depth of his presence to the mystery. Though the church was full of people, he was absorbed in something that could not be seen. Ultimately, reverence is respect before mystery. But it is more than an attitude of mind. Reverence is also physical, a dignified attention of body, showing that sacred is already here. Reverence is not to be reduced to a social posture. Reverence bestows dignity, and it is only in the light of dignity that the beauty and mystery of a person, you, me, others, will become visible. Reverence is not the stiff, pious posture which remains frozen and lacks humor and play. To live with a sense of reverence is not to become a prisoner of a dull piety. Playfulness, humor, and even a sense of the anarchic are companions of reverence because they insist on the proper proportion of the human presence in the light of the eternal. Reverence is also the companion of humility. When human hubris intrudes on or manipulates the sacred, the consequence is inevitably humiliation. In contrast, a sense of reverence includes the recognition that one is always in the presence of the sacred. To live with reverence is to live without judgment, without prejudice, and without the saturation of consumerism. The consumerist heart becomes empty and lonesome because it has squandered reverence. As parent, child, lover, friend, prayer, or artist, a sense of reverence opens pathways of beauty to surprise us. The earth is full of thresholds where beauty awakens the wonder of our gaze. Now, what's the specific lesson? The Tibetan, and this is in the book, The Externalization of the Hierarchy, these were the writings from the channeling of Alice A. Bailey right after World War I, and when the world was in a mess. And now, given politics, Given authoritarianism, given the pandemic, we are back to being in a mess. And so the great and Tibetan brought me to these words. And they are structured in a very particular way. The request. The task to be done, says the hierarchy, involves not only the physical plane, but also the inner planes of causes and impulses, of thought and desire. This, as light workers, disciples, we all know, but we are apt to forget. The critical situation upon the outer plane is only a reflection of still more critical inner conditions. And you and I can give acceptable help if we evoke our own will and control our emotions, disciplining our personality. There, and thus, we will be able to present a tiny focal point through which the spiritual forces can work. Through the agency of the many tiny points of light that we will become, which we are, so much potency can be transmitted out. It is the will to victory that is demanded at this time. It is the will to invoke that which is needed. It is the will to focus, and through this focusing, to aid in the great act of invocation for which the Christ is at this time preparing himself. It is the will to goodness, to self-control, and to the evocation of right action for which the hierarchy asks of us today. If humanity does its part, it will find that hierarchy more than ready to respond and to do its share in bringing about world release from the forces of evil. Will you ponder on this today? And will you cooperate in every possible way? The task. There is no easy thing to do at this time. The astral or emotional bodies of we human beings, which really constitutes the astral body of humanity, is today in a state of chaos. We are swept away by ancient desires, ancient and deep-seated selfish attitudes, and by ancient hedgewods. The task is also complicated by the activity of the mental processes we each have, which is characterized by pronounced and developed illusions, by separative attitudes, and by specious arguments. But there are, at the same time, enough people in the world who are responsive to the spirit of goodwill, of tolerant understanding, and animated by a desire for permanent right human relations. The outcome. The outcome if we proceed. When the work of the Buddha or of the embodied Buddhic principles is consummated in the aspiring disciple and in his or her integrated personality, then the full expression of the work of the Christ, the embodied presence of love, also can be consummated. And both of these potencies, light of the Buddha, love of Christ, will find radiant expression in the transfigured disciple, you or I. What is true, therefore, of the individual is true also of humanity and as a whole. And today, humanity having reached some maturity, can enter into realization and consciously take part in the work of enlightenment and of spiritual loving activity. The practical effects of this process will be the dissipation of glamour and the release of the human spirit from its thraldom as a consumer and with matter, with the material life. It will produce also the dispelling of illusion and the recognition of truth as it exists in the consciousness of those who are polarized in an awareness of Christ. Out here, being light, uplifting humanity to lay out the field for the second coming of Christ consciousness. What is there to see? What is there to see? In contradistinction to the totalitarian world order and the chaos that's out there, what is there to establish a new order? What should the rest of the world plan be? For sure, for sure, certain immediate possibilities and attainable objections can be worked out given a definite will to good and patience on our part for the sake of humanity. Certain major and spiritual premises should lie back of all of our efforts to formulate this new world order. And what are some of them? The Great Tibetan articulates it. 1. The new world order must meet the immediate need and not be an attempt to satisfy some distant or idealistic vision. The new world order must be appropriate to a world which has passed through and is dealing with destructive crises, and to a humanity which is badly shattered by the experience. The new world order must lay the foundation for a future world order, which will be possible with patience and work after recovery, reconstruction, and rebuilding, with the future having been our eye, our focus, and our eye on possibility, created possibility. The New World Order will be founded on the recognition that all men are equal. All men and women are equal in origin and goal, but that all are at differing stages of evolutionary development. That personal integrity, intelligence, vision, and experience, plus a marked goodwill, should indicate leadership. The domination of the proletariat over the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie has lately been the case and must disappear. The control of labor by capital, or the control of capital by labor, must also go. In the New World Order, the governing body in any nation shall be composed of those who work for the greatest good of the greatest number, and who at the same time offer opportunity to all, seeing to it that the individual is left free. Today, the men of vision are achieving recognition, thus making possible a right choice of leaders. And it was not possible until this century. The New World Order will be founded on an active sense of responsibility. The role will be all for one and one for all. This attitude among the nations will have to be developed. It is not consistently, congruently present. The New World Order, the New World Order will not impose a uniform type of government, a synthetic religion, and a system of standardization upon the nations. The sovereign rights of each nation will be recognized, and its particular genius, individual trends, and racial qualities will be permitted full expression. In one particular only should there be an attempt to produce unity, and that will be in the field of education. The New World Order will recognize that the produce of the world, the natural resources of the planet and its riches, belong to one nation? No, 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 not to one nation, but should be shared by all. There will be no nations under the category haves and others under the category of have-nots. A fair and properly organized distribution of the wheat, the oil, and the mineral wealth of the world will be developed based upon the needs of each nation, upon its own internal resources and the requirement of its people. All this will be worked out as relation to the whole. In the preparatory period for the New World Order, let there be a steady and regulated disarmament. It will not be optional. No nation will be permitted to produce and organize any equipment for destructive purposes or to infringe the security of any other nation. One of the first tasks of any future peace conference will be to regulate the matter and gradually see to the disarming of all nations. These are simple and general premises upon which the New World Order must begin to work. These preliminary stages must be kept fluid and experimental. The vision of possibility must never be lost, and the foundation must be preserved inviolate. But the intermediate processes and the experimentations must be carried forward by men and women who, having the best interests of the whole at heart, can change the detail of organization while preserving the life, the purpose, the future possibility of that organism called organization. World peace, world peace. And it all comes from us being present to the power of our soul, being present to the power and the sacredness of our own light, and shining brightly. And the tools we begin with prayer, and we begin with meditation, possibly fasting, generosity, and the expression of reverence. Reverence. What does that look like? It's really not hard, and it doesn't take money, but it does take you making yourself known. Have you moved to a new neighborhood? Do you know who your neighbors are? Do they know your name? If you meet each other, do you use your name as you address each other? Have you created a new way of greeting that works with our social distancing? The nod, the namaste. So the connection is still represented. Do you share? Do you share? One of my favorite things to do is make the extra chili, the extra soup, buy the extra pie, and send it to the few people, especially single people who tend to not take care of themselves. Have something homemade, delicious, full of love. Valentine's Day is coming up. Valentine's Day. Remember first, second, and third grade? Ladies and gentlemen, you're not beyond that. Honor your inner child. Go get some Valentines and send them out. Leave them on people's desks. Tuck them in people's phones. Offer them to your barrister and your druggist and your pharmacist, your mailman. Be generous. Be thoughtful. Be aware. And in that, your light will be on. And those many points of light will begin to merge, uplifting humanity to operate inside of its best interests. Acknowledge your leaders. Acknowledge your leaders. Whether you tweet an acknowledgement or you actually email an acknowledgement, be on their side and be watchful. Be watchful. Be their back and be on their back to keep the word they offered, they promised. Love yourself, honor your soul, share that love, that smile, create connection. And you don't need to understand the person or know the person or agree with the person or align on their purpose in life. You just need to understand your purpose is my purpose because you're human. You came down here, you have a journey. I honor you. And I respect that it's likely different from mine, but I honor you. We're going to close. This is Black History Month, and I'm taking the words from one of my favorite people, John Lewis, who I've shared with you before. This is our closing. You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Study the path of others to make your way easier and more abundant. Lean toward the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it is your time, don't be afraid to stand up, and speak out against injustice. And if you follow your own truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, a world, your community. Ah, a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. John Lewis. And my friends, it begins with you. That peace begins with you. I want to remind you again that as you take action along your path, your sacred path, and as you commit to your spiritual development, where you're stopped, where you want input, maybe just a safe listener, please remember that we do offer one-on-one consults by Zoom, by a private conference call, by live appointments. We do still here have our mini retreats that are, they're so great. They're so great. And they're being altered a little bit to work with people, and that there are going to be just day, not overnight retreats being offered from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the John F. Singer House. Or we still have that opportunity for people to enjoy the peace and the luxury that we can offer in our corner of the world, the overnight retreats. Please take advantage of them, please. And then we also ask again for offerings. Please mail a check to Sacred Journey of Life, and I put $1 in the mail. Invest in us. Please invest in us. And send that to 1318 Singer Place in Wilkinsburg, Pittsburgh 15221. Or make a donation to Sacred Journey of Life 2020 at gmail.com. We thank you for your support. We are here to offer you support. And that support is about you releasing all that power and you manifesting a great life that you're in love with. I personally, as the guided spiritual director of the Sacred Journey of Life, Spiritual Center and Healing Order, am committed to that. Have a great week. We'll be here on Valentine's Day with a really exciting story and lesson. Join us. I love you. Namaste.